Hello friends, Jessica Allier here. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Transformation Journey, a one-person empire series designed to help you understand the real path from feeling called to build something of your own to becoming the kind of founder who can create, operate, scale, and lead an aligned business. This series is for aspiring entrepreneurs, early-stage founders, creators, coaches, consultants, service providers, and anyone who knows they want more freedom but feels overwhelmed by where to start. In the last video, we talked about awakening. That is the moment you realize something in your life, work, income, or future can no longer stay the same. But awakening is only the beginning. In this video, we are covering the second layer of the journey, identity. This is the stage where you stop only asking, what business should I build, and start asking, who do I need to become in order to build it? Because entrepreneurship does not only test your strategy, it tests your self-trust, it tests your discipline, it tests your emotional regulation, your visibility, your decision-making, and it tests whether you can keep showing up before the world gives you proof that it is working. If you are building your own business, trying to escape confusion, or finally ready to create your one-person empire, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow along with the full series. Awakening is powerful. It gives you the realization, the desire, the pull, the inner knowing that says, I am meant for more than this. But identity is where that realization starts becoming real, because many people awaken to the idea of entrepreneurship, but they never become the person who can actually sustain it. They get excited, they buy the course, they start the page, they brainstorm the brand, they tell themselves, this is it, I'm finally doing this. And then something happens. They get scared, they get inconsistent, they compare themselves to everyone online. They wait for permission. They overthink the offer. They avoid selling. They panic when nobody responds right away. And slowly, the dream gets pushed back into the drawer, not because they were incapable, not because they had no potential, but because their identity had not caught up to the vision. Here is something most people are not told. A business is not just a money machine. A business is a mirror. It shows you where you trust yourself and where you do not. It shows you where you are disciplined and where you disappear when things get uncomfortable. It shows you where you are courageous and where you are still waiting for someone else to tell you that you are not allowed. It shows you how you respond to rejection, silence, uncertainty, responsibility, visibility, and pressure. That is why entrepreneurship can feel so emotional. You think you are just trying to build an offer, but suddenly you are facing your fear of being seen. You think you are just trying to post content, but suddenly you are facing your fear of being judged. You think you are just trying to sell, but suddenly you are facing your fear of being rejected. You think you are just trying to make money, but suddenly you are facing your relationship with worth, value, confidence, and receiving. This is why identity matters. Because if you try to build a business from an identity that does not trust itself, every decision becomes heavy. Every post feels dangerous. Every price feels too high. Every slow week feels like proof that you should quit. Every mistake feels like an identity crisis. But when you begin becoming a founder, you start responding differently. You start not needing everything to feel easy. You do not need everyone to approve. You do not need instant proof. You learn how to stay steady while you build. At this layer, many aspiring entrepreneurs face the same identity traps. Let's name them clearly. Imposter syndrome, fear of being seen, needing validation, inconsistency, and being afraid to sell. Trap 1. Imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome sounds like, who am I to do this? Why would anyone listen to me? There are already so many people doing this. I need one more certification before I start. I am not ready yet. Now, skill building matters. Education matters. Experience matters. But sometimes I am not ready is not the truth. Sometimes it is fear wearing a lab coat. You do not become a founder by waiting until you feel perfectly qualified. You become a founder by building competence through action. You learn, you test, you improve, you serve, you get feedback, you refine. The identity shift is this: I need to feel ready before I start becomes I become ready by practicing the work. Trap number 2, fear of being seen. Entrepreneurship usually requires visibility. That does not always mean becoming an influencer. It does not mean performing online or turning your life into content confetti. But it does mean being willing to let people know what you do, who you help, what you believe, and what you offer. For many people, this is terrifying because being visible means being perceivable. People can judge, people can ignore, people can understand, misunderstand, disagree, but they can also trust you. They can find you, they can learn from you, they can buy from you, they can refer you, they can grow with you. If nobody can see the business, nobody can be helped by it. The identity shift is this: I am afraid to be seen becomes I am willing to be visible for the people I am here to serve. Trap number 3, needing validation before acting. A lot of people do not realize they are waiting for permission. They are waiting for a parent to understand, a friend to approve, a partner to believe in them, a mentor to confirm the plan, the internet to clap, the algorithm to smile upon them. But entrepreneurship requires internal permission. That does not mean you ignore wisdom. It does not mean you never ask for feedback. It does not mean you become reckless. It means you stop outsourcing your authority to people who are not responsible for your future. Your business cannot be built by a committee if that committee is made of fear, doubt, and people who do not understand your vision. The identity shift is this: I need someone to validate me becomes I can make grounded decisions and move forward. Inconsistency is one of the biggest signs that your identity and your vision are not aligned yet. You say you want a business, but you only show up when you feel motivated. You only create when you feel inspired. You only sell when you feel confident. You only plan when life feels calm. But business is not built only in the golden moments. It is built through rhythm, through repetition, through small actions taken even when your feelings are doing interpretive dance in the corner. Consistency does not mean you become a machine. It means you become trustworthy to yourself. The identity shift is this: I work when I feel like it becomes I keep promises to the business I say I want. Trap 5, avoiding sales because it feels personal. Sales can bring up a lot: fear of rejection, fear of bothering people, fear of sounding pushy, fear of being judged, fear that if someone says no to the offer, they are saying no to you. But a founder has to learn a healthier relationship with sales. Sales is not begging. Sales is not manipulation. Sales is not proof of your worth. Sales is communication. It is the act of saying, here is a problem I can help solve. Here is the outcome I can help you move forward. Here is the path. Here is the invitation. When you make sales personal, every no feels like a wound. When you make sales service-based, every conversation becomes information. The identity shift is this: if they reject my offer, they reject me, becomes sales is part of how I serve, learn, and grow. The transformation at this layer is simple, but not small. You are moving from I want a business to I am becoming a founder. That is a very different identity. Someone who wants a business may fantasize about freedom. A founder learns how to make decisions. Someone who wants a business may wait for clarity. A founder creates clarity through action. Someone who wants a business may quit when things feel uncomfortable. A founder learns how to regulate discomfort. Someone who wants a business may hide. A founder becomes visible enough to be found. Someone who wants a business may consume endless advice. A founder applies, tests, and integrates. Someone who wants a business may look for proof. A founder learns how to create proof. This does not mean you become perfect. It does not mean you never doubt yourself. It does not mean you suddenly wake up some hyper-optimized business wizard drinking green juice out of a spreadsheet. It means you start relating to yourself differently. You stop asking, do I feel confident today? And you start asking, what does the business need from me today? You stop asking, what if people judge me? And you start asking, who needs me to behave enough to show up? You stop asking, what if this does not work? And you start asking, what can I learn from what happens next? This is founder identity, not arrogance, not performance, not pretending you have everything figured out. Founder identity is the ability to keep choosing the path even while you are still becoming the person who can walk it. Every business requires something different from the person building it. But most businesses will require some version of these identity traits. Consistency. Can you show up repeatedly even before the results are obvious? Courage. Can you be visible, make offers, and have real conversations? Patience. Can you let the business develop without demanding instant proof? Leadership. Can you make decisions instead of constantly waiting for certainty? Communication. Can you explain what you do, who you help, and why it matters? Emotional control. Can you feel fear, disappointment, or frustration without letting those emotions drive the business? Discipline. Can you do what matters, not just what feels easy, urgent, or exciting? Visibility. Can you let the right people know you exist? These traits are not personality traits you either have or you don't have. These are capacities. They can be built, they can be practiced, they can be strengthened, and that is good news. Because it means you do not have to wait for a magical personality transplant before you start. You can become the founder while you build the business. Here is your practical next step for this layer. Ask yourself, what identity traits will my business require from me? Write down the traits that matter most for the business you are trying to build. Maybe your business requires more consistency. Maybe it requires courage, patience, clear communication, emotional control, visibility, discipline. Then choose one trait to practice this week. Not 10, 1. Because identity is not built through dramatic declarations. It is built through evidence. Small evidence, repeated evidence, private evidence, public evidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build evidence. Every time you post the thing, make the offer, follow up, finish the task, regulate the spiral, or choose the next right action, you build evidence. And that evidence becomes self-trust. Self-trust becomes identity. Identity becomes action. Action becomes business. Quick review. In this video, we covered identity, the second layer of the entrepreneurial transformation journey. We talked about how awakening opens the door, but identity is what helps you walk through it. We talked about how business acts like a mirror, revealing your self-trust, discipline, fear, courage, emotional regulation, and decision making. We covered common identity traps like imposter syndrome, fear of being seen, needing validation, inconsistency, and avoiding sales because it feels personal. And we talked about the core shift. I want a business becomes I am becoming a founder. Your next step is to look at where you are right now. Are you truly ready for the next layer? Or is identity the layer that needs your attention first? If this helped you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and continue with the next lesson in the series. In the next video, we are moving into education, where we will talk about how to stop drowning in advice and start learning what truly matters.